Hello.
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 Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Sick.
What's up,
Welcome,
Razib?
Razib.
Yeah.
Just in the office. Yeah.
Nice. You've got a good high-res camera going on there. You're coming in very high-res.
Yeah. I mean, I don't use this camera too much in the office, so it's good to know. Let me just.
Yeah, it looks good.
What do you call your hairstyle? What do you call that look?
Zoomer approved.
The Zoomer approved. The
You
Indian
guys sound
Yarvin?
a little faint to me.
All right, let me.
No, I don't think it's you.
Okay.
I think it's just the whole thing.
I sound faint?
No, that's a little better.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds faint.
Where's our boy Swampist?
He's coming.
He's coming.
He says everyone sounds good to him. So
Razib, are you at the Futo offices?
Yeah.
The
I am.
global HQ?
Yes, I am.
What are the offices like over there? Like, what's it like being in the office? Do you have a lot of people there?
Let me. We don't have a lot of people. The office is still under capacity. We're hiring. I don't know, what your listenership is, but if there's so many tech bros, or in a generic, non-sex specific term way, out there, who are interested in working against big tech and have a lot of good skills and are aligned with the Futo way, where pro decentralization, individual autonomy, sovereignty of software, that sort of thing. We're recruiting actively. So just message me at razib@futo.org if you are interested in jobs. We are looking for people, preferably in Texas, but we have people all over the country. I will say, I'm director of operations here, and I have never been more libertarian in my life, having to hire people in blue states. Okay,
dude, same, man.
Yeah.
Same.
I'm trying to give you people a job. They're making it hard.
I know. Dude, we have had the hardest time ever hiring designers. Our designers keep having all kinds of weird problems and stuff.
Yeah.
So we're always looking for base. Honestly, being a base designer is like it's like a unicorn. It's just like non-existent. There's like 2 in the entire world.
Yeah. I will say, and I've tweeted this out, I say what I think, my personal experiences. I've been on, I've always been, conservative, been on the right, and I will say, I'll be honest, being in a position to hire, I don't actually believe this shit about how we have all these talented Americans in Iowa anymore, because I've looked. So
yeah,
be honest.
Yeah. Dude, our latest thing that we've been seeing all the time is extreme goy fragility. Are you familiar with goy fragility?
No, tell me about it.
I swear to God, like white dudes are worse than black women employees. Like they're literally the most. They're constantly whining. They need breaks. They need all kinds of like special considerations and stuff. I've really like white men are truly like the worst employees.
Wait,
like,
are we live?
Christian white guys.
Are we live or not?
We are live. Yes.
Okay.
We're live, and we're getting
Is that
lots of. As if the Jewish allegations couldn't be hardcore, we got the guy just making fun of the goys.
Wait. Are we?
I'm just making fun of them, saying that
Denzel, are you a full
black women are better employees
They
than
are.
white men.
It's
That
really
is the
true. No
first
one
take we've
complains.
launched today.
No one complains more than like disaffected,
Holy
like Christian
shit,
white guys. They just whining constantly. You can't give them any feedback. They get all mad if you say anything bad about their work. They're like, "Oh, excuse, I thought that I did what you wanted," and I'm just like,
Can we
dude,
make this?
chill
Can we just
out.
make one caveat that this is strictly creative homosexual faggots that like are in alt-right LA lit.
Yeah, it's like
so.
it's
These
like,
aren't like actual male right
They're
wingers.
not in
These
the
are just
fucking
people that are.
Why don't
found
you
in-
just say my name, Isaac, and get it over with?
Hey, can I get a Semitic check? Actually, how many full and half and possibly quarter Jews do we have here? I'm zero. I'm full goy. So.
So I'm half. I'm a matrilineal Jew.
Oh, so you're the real deal. The real deal. Okay.
Matrilineal Ashkenazi, so the real deal.
Yeah.
Not one of those
Halakhically.
Sephardim.
Yeah. Well, I'm a geneticist though, so Isaac.
Yeah, I'm a matrilineal Jew as well, so I'm half.
Oh wow,
I'm only half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other two here.
I have less than I have 4% Jewish.
Are you
somewhere? I'm half Puerto Rican.
Oh, okay, the Latino. That's Sephardic.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's 2% Ashkenazi, 1% Sephardic. So
wait. What platform are you on?
What do you mean?
Like, where'd you get that percentage?
Oh,
from?
Ancestry.com.
So they have Sephardic in there now. Interesting.
Yeah. And my theory is that they're just trying to make everybody give everybody a little bit of Jewish, because I think the Jews bought them.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of it. I mean, I've been in that field. One thing I will say is, like, it's very hard to detect Sephardic because they're much more genetically diverse than Ashkenazi, and often they'll throw up that they're part Ashkenazi. So if you're a Moroccan Jew, you often have a lot of Ashkenazi quote unquote ancestor, but that's just because, like, they don't have good reference panels for that. But anyway.
Interesting.
And we got the head of socials. Are you a goy? I mean,
yeah.
I'm as Anglo as you could get. Like, it is. I did the DNA test, and it's like it's like maybe 1% from like North Italy, some in Germany, whatever, but it's all like just
so you're 1% black.
Yeah, 1% black. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, he hates that 1%.
Are you a heritage American? Have you traced your family back to like the Mayflower?
Yeah, Isaac and I were talking about this. My family, what we've traced it back to is like the early 1700s.
Oh, like wow. That is...
dude, you're an immigrant, bro.
Yeah, you're an immigrant, dude.
Essentially an immigrant. Yeah.
My shit starts 1632, and then the Hispanic side is like 1500s, dude. They were owning slaves in Puerto Rico.
Hispanic side.
You have to count them because they were white at first.
Eat down. You know what's funny is when I was in LA, and I think we're going to talk about this later, and I'll talk about it. But I met some Spaniards that were there for the game, the World Cup game, and they were even more racist against Mexicans than I was.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
straight up
obviously.
white Spaniards. They were just like
all Spaniards are white
really early.
Razib, can you explain to this fucking
they're
guy?
White Europeans, I get it. But they started in so
lives
early,
in
and
Utah.
I was like, wow, you guys are my people.
He's Mormon or something. I think Isaac was the first Jew he's ever met in his life.
Who, me?
No, I'm talking about a pub. I think you were the first Jew he's met in his life.
No, we've been over this. I've been to Israel.
Oh, that's right.
What are we? Come on.
I just wanted to get you to admit that. That's all.
No. All right.
No. Isaac is the first Jew boss I've had of all the minority bosses I've had.
Yoram Herzoni took me to Israel in January, so I've been too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh wow! How was your trip to the Promised Land?
Oh, it was great. Went to Jerusalem, checked out Church of the Holy Sepulchre, went to Bethlehem, went to Church of Nativity, went to Sea of Galilee, went to Carpenium, Jesus Synagogue, went to Tel Aviv, partied for 2 nights. We're not going to talk extensively about what that entailed.
Nice. Did you get Jewish pussy at any point?
Anyway, so
yes, you did.
Yuck.
I will recommend Israel to people. It's a great country, actually. I'm more pro-Jew than I was before I went.
Oh, really?
I guess that was the point.
Tel Aviv is awesome. Tel Aviv is a great party city.
Yeah, it's I will say, like, Israelis. I've met. I work in tech. I know a lot of Israelis on and off. Just like casually. But being in Israel, I was like, oh, okay. It feels a lot. Partly because there's a lot of Americans there, but it feels a lot more American, I think, than I was expecting. Just even though obviously there's a lot of Sephardic, Mizrahim, there's all sorts of, it's very diverse. It's not just Ashkenazi like the United States, but it's like kind of a frontier country. It's very militaristic, and it's like sink or swim there. Obviously, like literally, they're backed up against the wall. So I think I got a very American vibe from them, and I could relate, and I actually enjoyed my time. Yeah, so I don't know. It worked, I guess. Yoram's magic worked. I'm definitely more pro. I'm not a person that's like very strongly motivated by the Israel-Palestine thing. Like, it's over there. I like Jews, but like, I'm not a Christian Zionist. I'm not a Christian. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just never been a big thing for me. But I like Israel.
Yeah. How do you think Jews are handling the last couple years in general?
I mean, there've been a lot of Jew chimping. People have been freaking out, but maybe they should be freaking out. I don't know. Because like what I would say is, and I have like, I'm on the right. Like I have a lot of, far right associations, as the hit pieces would say, and that's true. And like a lot of Jews, they have a very, very sensitive, antennae for anti-Semitism, and it gets triggered by stuff that's not like I've been accused of being an anti-Semite. Okay, if you know me and my friends, it's just like I'm not. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, like I'm not an anti-Semite. Like I like the Jews, so to speak. But but it's like, if you're not like 100% pro-Zionist or whatever, and I'm pro-Zionist, but if you're not like all on board with everything Israel, like people freak out. And then that starts annoying a lot of people, I feel. And like, that's when certain people start making a journey to the other side. It's counterproductive, I will have to say. overall, I'm not a big fan of the pro-Palestinian crap. But there's I can point fingers in all directions. I think people are flipping out a little too much. But
you're a Gen Xer, right?
Yeah, I am.
I think it's hard to get millennials as well. I think it's hard to get Gen Xers and millennials to get fully on board with hating Israel, unless you're deeply steeped in like new internet culture.
Yeah,
and you were on 4chan a lot back in the day. Like maybe you're probably kind of classically J-pilled, but I think it's hard to get your average millennial and Gen Xer to be like, you know what? The Jews have always been really crazy and bad, but those Muslims are awesome. It's like we just didn't come from that era.
No, I don't. Yeah, I think that's right. Boomers are even more extreme.
Oh, yeah.
So I think there's a generational. So some of these things that we're talking about, obviously, there's a strong generational. So, for example, Isaac was complaining about, white male homosexual employees. But I mean, a lot of it is Zoomers in particular are very fragile.
Well, he was actually talking about white male heterosexual employees.
I mean, heterosexual.
It's even worse.
I mean, with Zoomers, it's like you don't even know anymore.
That's true.
We had a guy who, and I won't say who it is, get deeply offended. Literally, this literally happened by use of the word goy. He literally sense. Like messenger was just like, bro, if you could just not call me goy, like that would be chill.
No, yeah, he said.
And I was like,
he said basically,
not call you that.
I mean,
you can call me whatever you want, but we're not doing word police. The entire purpose of this entire operation is to not word police people. Like, we're not going to start doing it for you any more than for anybody.
You should just tell them to chill out and let's just go take a break and get some goy slop.
Yeah, I know. No, and right. I say, just go eat your fucking goy slop. How about you go have a nice big meal of goy slop? Eat your goy bar and come back and we'll talk. Yeah,
he was I have to wake up every single day and be in a group chat called Goyim in Abundance and be called a goy. That's what I have to deal with every fucking day.
Yeah, and I was like, no. Like, dude, it was. I really hate to use the word woke right because I hate that word and I hate that whole association. But I was like, that is woke right. You're just doing the same thing the other way. You're playing the same bullshit back.
Sure.
It's like, no, I'm not gonna not say that.
Yeah,
fuck you.
I don't like that word either. Partly because, look, I've been called part of movements that I've never heard of, which is kind of weird. So I was in a list of something called Tescrill. It's like transhumanism and a bunch of other things, and like Razib Khan was one of the major thinkers in Tescrill. And I was like, I've never heard of Tescrill. So it's just like, how could I be like a major thinker of something I've never heard of? But anyway, so I woke right. Like I don't like to use that term because I don't know what does that mean. But I do have to say some of these woke people or like some of these right wing people, they are like fragile in a way, and you can drop the N word, whatever, but you can't drop like whatever words that offend them, and it's just it's annoying. But that's what happens when you kind of command a little bit more of the cultural space. Your vulnerability starts showing, I think. Also, like those of us who went through the woke period, I mean, we have thicker skin. Let's put it this way. Like some of these newcomers, they didn't experience. I've been canceled. Like it's been a while since I've been canceled. So I mean, you guys should help me out here. Maybe I guess I'll say a few things. But it's been about I think 5 years since I've had a good cancellation. But it used to be I was canceled about every year from 2014 onwards. And so it's just whatever. But a lot of the newbies, like they haven't gone through that, and
they love to cancel a Brown too. It's like a big scalp for them.
Well, I mean, it's like you can be racist and woke at the same time. It's great.
Yeah.
Are you you're Indian, Mr. Khan?
Yeah. No. Well, my family's from Bangladesh, so I mean,
he's a Bangladeshi.
Bengali. I don't make much of a distinction. But...
Is that Pakistan or where's that?
No. Other end.
Other side. Do you guys have
I don't take too much offense.
Do you guys have different castes?
In Bangladesh, we don't.
Okay. Yeah. Nice.
Well, I mean, my last.
They are the low caste.
Well, my last name is Khan, so that means that I come from landlord stock, but
So do I.
Well, I mean, you're half Jewish,
right?
So Razib, you had this post that I wanted to talk to you about, which was about your experience being banned from a restaurant. And
it was it was a bar. So it was just kind of a throwaway. It's happened like last month. I don't even know why I tweeted it out. It was just funny. So what happened is I have here in Austin, I have like a group of people, mostly on the right, not all, but just like my friends. Usually there's about like on the order of like 20 to 40 something that meet for dinner, and then usually about the same number, like 30 people maybe go for drinks, right? And so, obviously there's a certain parameter of bar that can accommodate us, et cetera, et cetera. So we usually go to the same restaurants and the same bar, okay? And this usually happens like once every week or like maybe every 2 weeks, and this has been going on since, I don't know, 2022, 2023. It's been a while, right? And so there's one bar where regulars, and, I bring like 30 people show up at the same time. And so they told me that, like text us when you're coming, because we'll, call someone in and we'll have like, 2 or 3 bartenders instead of just one. So I do that. And the last time that I did it, they were like, some people didn't like what y'all were talking about. I think you guys need to find another place to meet. That's literally what she said. And I was like, okay, like, what does that mean? She didn't respond. I was like, okay, whatever. I didn't think much of it. I was just like, we need to find a new place, guys. And, I was trying to figure out, like, what do we say? And, like, then I, thought back to last time. And, like, I left. And then some guy stayed till the end. And they were the only thing they were talking about. Not the only thing. It's like they were talking about, pre-implantation genetic diagnosis and surrogacy and stuff like that. Okay. We were talking about, like, genetic engineering and that sort of thing. So I don't know what was offensive about that. But, when people were closing up, I think the employees, my hypothesis, my conjectures, employees heard them talking about this sort of thing. And I guess it was offensive somehow. I don't know. I mean, I can imagine ways that it would be offensive, but whatever. Like I said, it's been 3 years, and it's not like, there's an outdoor area that we sit at. We generally keep to ourselves. Yes, like, we do argue about various things that might be politically incorrect. We just get drunk. I mean, it's, it's not like a debating society,
Yeah.
That's bizarre.
That's
crazy. I think you get a pretty eclectic group together though, right? You get some pure political commentators. Mm-hmm. We had Ray Valentina on. I think she said she's friends with you.
Yeah, no, she's part of the group. I mean, I see her every week.
So if Ray's there dropping in bombs heavy, which she is one to do, I could imagine that made some white liberals upset.
I mean, like, when I tell Ray, because I tell her this, I'm just like, bitch, like, can you just like stop that? Because like they're gonna think I said it, and then like people be chipping out at me. You know what I'm trying to say? So
it was a little uncomfortable. We all like to say the N-word, but she was saying it a lot, and we were
no, I'll be. Okay, I don't know if I should say this, but whatever. So it's like sometimes we'll be walking down 6th Street together, just hanging out, and she'll like see someone just start like, and I'm like, you understand? They'll look over, and they might think I said it. Like I'm wearing a cowboy hat. You see what I'm saying? Like you understand that I can get in a lot more trouble than you.
Yes.
So so Ray is there, but we have like guests from out of town, like speakers that come. I don't know. It's like like Brian doesn't care. I mean, Brian Kaplan like hangs out with us. People like Brian Kaplan, like rationalists. There's some rationalists. There's like a wide range of people. There's even some libs. People that come out of town. Like I have. Well, I mean, let's just say I have like. I mean, Isaac kind of knows. It's like I have like group chats in multiple cities, and so sometimes people will come into town, and I have a group in SF, for example, like the same equivalent group in SF. I just like, give a call out. And so we go to Chinese restaurants, for example, because like they don't give a shit what you say. They're like they're just like oh, you pay bill, okay, yeah, you pay bill.
Chinese,
that is
Chinese
kind of a
say
base
nigga more than anybody else.
No, but it's just like the thing is, like I show up, there's a restaurant we go to in SF. I show up, they're just like, oh, you here? Oh, you order lots of food, because like I'll bring like 20 people, and like the bill's gonna be thousands of dollars, No,
we all need based hubs. We just got back from DC and we hung out at Butterworth's for like 4 straight days.
Yeah,
because it's just like we need somewhere where we can talk and no one's gonna judge us. Pub was just here and just screaming spick at the top of his lungs everywhere we went. We're in Atwater Village. This is the like wokest part of town, and he's just like, yeah, so these specks were coming at me last night in the bar, and I was just like,
they were.
You can't.
Yeah,
you can't say that. So me and Hadrian were just like, oh god.
I will say, like I can be a provocative person, but I will say, like my friend Pax. Some of you may know Pax.
Oh yeah, I love Pax, dude. Pax is fucking hilarious. Great guy. The original canceled man. The first canceled guy.
So he's part of the group, but he when we've been to other places, he has like some of the stories he tells has got me in trouble. It's where people pull me aside and they're just like, you got to check your. I was like, oh god, like come on, can you just mind your own business? That's basically my attitude. I hear all sorts of things. People talk about all sorts of things, and we just mind your own business, right? But like because we are in the political minority, they can. Okay, so I will tell you guys though. That wasn't the funniest thing that happened. Like a couple of months ago, was it a couple of months ago or a month and a half ago? We were at a different bar, and it was a much smaller group. Well, I mean, I can say like Cremu was part of the group, who anyway, so like he was there, and another friend he's Latino, visibly Latino, put it that way, Latinx, and he is of the homosexual persuasion. Anyway, so we ran into
like Harrison.
Yeah, we ran into like couple married lesbian couple, a big one and a small one, kind of. And Cremu was like talking to them and explaining that like we're kind of like famous on the internet, and he's like pointing to me, and I'm just like, why the fuck are you telling whatever. But like she's like, oh, you're bullshitting us. It's just going back and forth. And then like my friend the homosexual, he's talking to the smaller one, and they're talking, and like he's right wing too. Like we're all pretty, he's I'll say he's Claremont alum. Let's put it that way. That's how right wing he is.
Base.
So we're talking about Minneapolis. He's talking about Minneapolis, and I say something about Minneapolis. There's a lot of Somalis there, and the skinny one, the little one, looks at me, and she's like, "What?" I'm like, "A lot of Somalis there, especially a lot of Somali women." And I kind of smile, and she's like, "Wait, what? I'm uncomfortable that you just said that. Something's wrong." And then she like talks to her like wife, and they both look at us like, "You guys need to go. You guys need to go now." And they basically like drove us out of the bar because I said that. I mean, her intuition was correct about me and us, but it was just like that's what triggered it for her.
Yeah,
dude. They know. I also dress like a fat chud, so like I kind of just give off like racist kind of vibes now. I used to give off gayer. Yeah. If you look at my Instagram from 10 years ago, like Denzel does from time to time, I was much gayer and more lib, but now I basically do what you do, Razib. I'm just running around with the cowboy hat in the fucking like a mullet, and people just know that I'm racist immediately. It's like all you got to do. Even if you're fucking from Bangladesh, they're
I'm not wearing it today. I normally wear a bolo tie, but when I'm in San Francisco, which I am often, people know where I'm from. They know I'm from Austin. I like giving that off, and like it's just the cowboy hats. It's my hair is in my face all the time now. It's like I'm of a certain age, so it's like now that I can have hair. I have no hair loss. Might as well let it go. But
although I do like your Wikipedia shaved head face.
Yeah, I was like that for a certain person in my life who is not in my life for like 20 years.
You look like you're about to do like a TED talk like for anthropic people or something like that. It's very
yeah, I was in graduate school. I was in graduate school back then. But I had that haircut. I had a buzz cut for 20 years. So this is like a thing that I started letting my hair grow out last year. A certain person in my life was influencing me. So I need to protect the innocent,
So one of the things we do on this podcast is go through the racial power rankings of the week. So we see like which groups are up and which groups are down based on the week's events, just like football or something. So
do I need to share my screen? Do I need to share these rankings anywhere? Do we have
well,
them?
We have some new ones this week.
Rankings yet?
Okay.
Yeah, but we have some like we do this every week. People love this. We were actually going to stop doing this because it got us like instantly banned from Instagram, even though it's funny. Oh, dude! By the way, Razib, did you see our piece about all the different types of Jews?
No.
You would love this.
Mama site? Okay.
Yeah, because it's breaking down all of the different like weird Jewish like subtypes.
Okay.
So we could go through that in a second. The Syrian Jews are the funniest because apparently Syrian Jews, I didn't know this, are really into organ harvesting.
Oh, okay.
They harvest a lot of organs and they love gems. So they just like take organs and receive gems. That's what Syrian Jews are.
Yeah, there was a big like RICO case essentially like 15 years ago that was called Operation Bid Rig, where Syrian Jews were like inviting Israelis to America. They're like, "Oh, come to America, like opportunity, like it's really great." And then they would harvest their organs and, possibly buy jewels with the money.
What the hell? Yeah, I think I vaguely heard about this on some like nether regions of the internet.
Yeah. No, this needs to be. See, they won't cover that in the New York Times.
They ain't covering that in the New
They
York
ain't covering the truth in the New York
Times.
Times. Them Jews are they're harvesting organs, and I can't even harvest my crops
ever. Yeah. No. So anyway, this week with regard to who's ups and downs, I think we decided that white people are up because of like various things that are going on. I mean, like Lindsey Graham, kind of race traitor, right? Was Lindsey Graham a race traitor against the whites? So that means like the whites are doing better.
I met him in Israel in January.
Yeah. Well, there
Is
you
he
go.
a race traitor?
Isn't he a race traitor? Isn't he? Didn't
I wouldn't call him a race traitor.
Was he not a race traitor?
No. I thought race traitor just meant you bang black chicks.
Oh.
He just loved Israel. He just loves Jews. But he liked whites too. He also loved whites.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
So do we like him or not like him? What are we supposed to? What is?
So do we like him or do we not like Lindsay?
What does the Talmudic Network say about what we're supposed to?
Talmudic
The
Network
Talmudic Network
definitely
likes him. The Talmudic Network
Lindsey
likes him. Yeah.
Talmudic Network for
He's
sure.
he's a righteous. He was a righteous among the nations.
Okay.
Righteous
Yeah,
Israel.
dude. Benjamin Netanyahu. They were like, "Give us one word to describe Lindsey Graham," and he goes, "Patriot."
No, so I met Benjamin Netanyahu and Lindsey Graham in Israel. They were at the David Nine restaurant. So we were going to eat the David Nine. There was all the security, and we're like, "What's going on?" And they're like, "Oh, the prime minister's coming." Blah blah blah. And then like Lindsey and Netanyahu walked by. I took a selfie with Lindsey. I posted it. And then later, as they were leaving, they said bye to us and stuff like that. I dapped up Netanyahu a little bit. He looked a little confused. We didn't talk.
You
Damn,
dapped
you dapped
dapped up
Uncle Ben, dude.
Uncle Ben.
Hey, what's up to Uncle Ben?
Well, I mean, he wanted like do like shake hands, and I was like, nah, let's like go.
You taught Netanyahu how to dap.
He looked very confused. He looked very perplexed, but he was a good sport about it. Like I was like a little worried, like maybe they're gonna shoot me or something. But I gotta.
He probably thought it was like a Bangladeshi ritual, like some kind of greeting he's not aware of.
No. So also we have. So you'll be good about this. No longer are the brown teams are now bad at soccer now. It's like Brazil is out. All the brown, they're not as good anymore. The brown teams. Argentina's not really.
There's a whole. I didn't read the whole article because I wasn't super interested because I don't really give a shit about soccer. But there's a whole thing about Pentecostalism and why that's like making Brazilian soccer bad.
Yeah, they're getting longhoused like everybody else. They're getting longhoused, and that's sort of the end of like Dionysianism. Like you need them to all be like back when Argentina was like brown. They had this guy Maradona. Have you heard of him?
Yeah.
And he was a legendary coke addict. He would like do coke on the field.
Yeah.
And just like complete party fucking absolute monster and like the greatest player ever. And
Yeah,
they
he
were-
died like 2 years ago, didn't he?
yeah, and it was
I think
the
of
same
like,
thing.
I think he
in
just
like
overdosed of coke.
yeah,
He was
in
like
the
50.
Yeah, yeah. In like the Ronaldo era, all those dudes were just fucking completely fucked up, like fat, And now, now
They
they're
were
like all in
fat.
shape and shit. And it's like, dude, you don't want to do that. Like, if you're like a Dionysian person, never try to be an Apollonian. That's what I've learned in my life. You got to just pick and you got to just be it, As soon as you start trying to be like the straight and narrow, you're fucked.
I
So,
don't think they were fat, dude.
Yeah, dude.
This
no,
is actually
the
where we
best
do.
soccer players in the world looked like Harrison like 60 years
yeah,
ago.
they're basically
No
you, dude.
way, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Hold
So
on.
anyway, so the Browns are out of there. Lindsey Graham is, I guess that's irrelevant. I guess that's a loss. They ranked Tennessee quality of life in the United States. It's bad for the whites.
Dude, if you do enough blow, you can overcome being a fat fuck, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, kinda. I think
He was
cocaine-
young. Dude, he's not fat here. That's based. That's what he looked like right before
Whoa,
he died. I think.
whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, dude. What the hell?
Nice.
I mean, dude, he was not running around as much.
Wow.
He looks.
But he was always like a little stocky. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I think he was like pretty short and stocky.
Although, like, Messi's not that tall either. Like, some of these, like, Argentines.
Yeah, is it good to be short in soccer?
I don't know. A lot of
so-
the Germans are big.
Well, it depends. So, I think the only insight I would have here is special forces in the United States tend to be like 5'8" to 5'10". I was like, oh, they're not that big. So the reason is endurance. So it turns out that, like, yes, you can have big guys that have good endurance, but it's harder because strength increases by a square, whereas your mass increases by a cube, right? And so as you get bigger and bigger, you have less and less strength per unit. And so you gas out, like, you're stronger, but you gas out faster. So that could be why not huge guys, can do really well in soccer because they can just like wear you out.
So it besides Brazil, has a brown or non-white team ever won the World Cup?
What?
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
yeah.
Like,
Like
hundreds.
I mean, when? I mean, it depends on if we count. Is Argentina brown or white?
France.
Well, right. Yeah. Now, yeah, right. But I'm trying
Africa.
to like, definitely
African
no
team.
African
No
team.
African team has won. I think Ghana's won one.
No, fuck no, dude.
Yeah.
No way in
Why is
hell,
that
man.
surprising?
No, I
There's
don't
no
think
way in hell
Ghana
Ghana's
has.
ever won a World Cup. No way.
Okay,
There's, like,
sorry.
very
no
few
team.
teams
No
that
team
have
has
won a
won
World
more
Cup.
World Cup matches in the last 20 years than Ghana, but they did not win.
Brazil has won a bunch.
Yeah, it's basically like Brazil, Germany, France, Spain. Those are the only people who ever win
Yeah.
over and over.
Ghana is like the San Francisco 49ers of the World Cup.
Oh, and Argentina.
That's
Well,
the
yeah.
right.
So is Argentina a brown country or a white country?
Uruguay in 1930, but there was probably only white people
Paraguay and Uruguay, right?
there. Uruguay,
That was-
Uruguay. Brazil's won it 5 times,
yeah, they're the
Yeah.
and then Argentina's won it a
Kings.
couple times.
We got
And then
one
that's it.
Turkey. Turkey got it one year.
Is that true?
Yeah, way back.
Wow. Okay.
I mean,
well,
I'm
that's kinda
starting. I mean, I'm starting in 1930. I think that's when it started.
counts.
So I don't know where. I don't think Turkey.
I'm looking
I don't know
at the
what.
list.
I don't know what number you're looking at. What list you're looking at?
Just out of
Sketch.
curiosity, I'm looking at 1998 France, and I'm like looking at the people. Like, looks like North African, black, white,
Oof.
white.
Yeah, France has
Mixed
always
race
been.
black, North African,
Yeah, so
white.
that's a black team, basically.
Yeah, it's mostly like a couple of whites and then like North Africans and blacks 98. So just
You know what? I lived in France for a while. This won't get great reception on this podcast, but I found black French guys to be very pleasant and respectful.
Well, I'm sure if they're like legit black French dudes and not fresh off the boat Africans, they're fine.
Yeah.
Which is like the opposite in America. In America, you want to run into an African, not somebody whose family's been here for 400 or 500 years, because they are usually the shooters. But if you meet like a nice African guy in America, it's usually like Coming to America, Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
They're like super nice and usually have like a college degree.
Yeah.
Like they'll
tucked in-
fuck up
tucked
your
in
like
polo.
yeah, they'll fuck up your like surgery if they're your doctor. You definitely don't want that, but like they're really good at running like fucking parking lots and shit. They're like
Dude,
really
like
cool.
a mall kiosk, they'll run
Oh, dude.
extremely well.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
I'll go to an African mall kiosk right now. I don't care what they're doing.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, it's not just African Americans, right? Because this is actually a good question for Razib. Because everybody's like, okay, the reason African Americans are so great at sports is because they're like genetic freaks, right? Because they were slavery made them that way, kind of like reverse Jews. And so, but as we're saying now, that's not entirely true because also African blacks
Yeah.
are like great at soccer in like London, right?
Yeah.
So it can't be entirely slavery.
But
Yeah,
soccer isn't like
But
it's a
they're-
completely different sport than like what American sports are.
But I mean, yeah, I think the first of all, like the math is really hard to work out. There's enough generations for selection to be that strong, to make that much of a difference. So that's one of the issues that people just bring up. The back of the envelope, it seems not plausible. But also, like obviously, like Kenyans, particularly the Kalenjin tribe, do really well in the long distance. They're East Africans. They have a different body plan, different strengths. And then in terms of, I think the West Africans are starting to do better in like the speed. Jamaicans obviously, but they're kind of, you could use the same hypothesis that you use for American blacks. Although, if it's selection, you would say American blacks should be the best athletically compared to say Jamaicans or Caribbeans because the mortality rates were really high in the Caribbean, so that their ancestry in Africa is much more recent. So in America, the slaves actually they were replacing themselves as early as the 18th century. And so they have really, really deep roots in America. Whereas, like, for example, the Haitians, during the Haitian Revolution, a lot of the Haitians were speaking African languages.
Yeah.
Because they're from Africa. In the United States, the vast majority of African American ancestry actually dates to before the Revolution. So they're very deeply rooted in this country that way. So
The U.S. slave trade ended in like 1808. So they weren't bringing in fresh slaves from Africa.
But even if you take that into account, and that there were a fair number of slaves that came, like before 1808. If you look at that, the way the demographics works, earlier generations contribute disproportionate to the future stock. So even like the later slave trade, which was significant, it's actually a much smaller impact on the demographics of African Americans than you would think just looking at the numbers. Does that make sense? Just like in the United States.
But how do you, that's a fascinating concept and really interesting. But when do you mark, you're just saying like in a general sense, earlier generations have a bigger impact than later generations on a
because
final
with
result?
with demographic increase. So for example, 30,000 Puritans gave rise to like 750,000 New Englanders in 1776. Like that's like one number I can tell you off the top of my head, right?
Right.
And so like those 30,000 obviously there's millions and millions of people that came to Ellis Island. And like they're a substantial proportion, but it was like millions, right? Whereas like you had like hundreds of thousands of English people arriving in the 17th century. Those people though gave rise to tens of millions, 100 million maybe people, right?
Yeah.
Similar thing with Africans. It's like the earliest slaves that arrived in Virginia and stuff like that. They arrived, the earliest people, their genealogy just expands outward.
Yeah.
It's really important.
It's fascinating.
That's like really good.
But you
point.
need an ethnogenic. You need like a liquidity event. You need like an ethnogenic moment in order for that to work. Like you need to have somebody go from one place to another place.
But we had an open frontier.
It's interesting you say that because people always say, I have a relative on the Mayflower, or they say, or like they were at Jamestown or something like that. Or they were like, I'm related to Lord Calvert. If you just look at Lord Calvert himself, his descendants are actually like, it's like 2 million people.
Yeah.
And if you're like stock of the Mayflower, that's upwards of like 80 million people. Something crazy that they can actually, they can trace their lineage back through that.
The U.S. Census, there was I forget his name now. Was it Gilbert Fry? Maybe, I don't know. There was a guy I blogged about this years ago, but there was a census demographer who did the estimates this is before genetics, but you can like do rough estimates. The American population was descended 50% or more from people that were here in the 1790 census up until 1990.
Oof.
Okay,
That's
so
sad.
that's including whites and blacks. Okay,
Yeah.
but it just shows you that like the founding stock. So what was the founding population of the U.S.? Like at that census, it was like what, like 3 million, something like that.
What year
So
was that?
1790. That's the
Yeah,
first census.
1790 is probably around.
So
3
that's the
million.
first census, and so that's usually when you peg what the founding stock is. Like the white population was about 3/4 English. Most of the rest was Scottish, with some of those Protestant Germans, etc., and the Dutch. So that was 1790. That population of like 3 million people was still half the American population in terms of you look at like 1/4 people, 3/4, whatever. Like he did some estimations, but it was still half. Up
Yeah, it was
until 1990.
3.9 million inhabitants in the 1790 census, and among this population, 18% were enslaved, so about 697,000. And then 1865, when slavery ends, there's about 4.5 million slaves at that time. So that's how that's over 100 years or so.
American slavery, the U.S. slavery in the American colonies was notoriously humane compared to Brazil or the Caribbean in terms of the mortality rates. Part of it was the type of agriculture. So the most humane agriculture was like rice agriculture in lowland South Carolina. After that, it was cotton. Sugar was the worst, and sugar was all through the Caribbean and Brazil. Like sugar was just like we're talking about 90-95% mortality rates. They just like destroyed human
Just
beings.
from diabetes, because they're just eating that sugar all day.
Dude, that's actually Banting, the guy that created the guy that created like the keto diet. He got his observations from because the slaves, they would make him eat the sugar because that was generally like I live in Louisiana. They'd make him eat the sugar cane. They'd feed him a lot of sugar during like harvesting, which is usually like the fall, and they'd all get kind of fat and big. And then like they lean them out the rest of the year just to like get them because the sugar affects the blacks. They get high blood pressure, it hurts their heart.
Yeah,
they get diabetes.
But they love it. But they also love it.
Oh, dude, they were making Kool-Aid fucking pineapples in the 1700s, dude.
Yeah, dude. Okay, so other white people losses. Plattner. What's our thoughts on Graham Plattner? They got him.
Hero.
They got him. The Jews got him. The
goat.
Jews took him down. Robbie, our writer, had a great write about. He was like, whichever Jewish psyop took out Plattner, the right should be so happy that they got him.
Well, it's so like satisfying now because these things only happen on the left, like these Me Too things now. Like it's dead,
but it's not
dead for the mainstream, and it's definitely dead for the right. So you just watch Democrats every like 3 months choose like one of their most promising male politicians.
Well, here's the thing, dude, and I think this is the black pill of that is like we like to look at it as like, oh, look how dumb that is, like, but really it is the personification of their power. Like it's the visualization of how powerful their actual machine is, which is like, yep, everybody likes this guy and everybody's on board. And the moment the call goes out that like, hey, they did it to Swalwell. He was their number one bitch boy until the moment he does something they don't like, or he's now persona non grata, or like, hey, he's not going to win. We need to get rid of him. Because if he doesn't win, because if he wasn't going to win in Maine, he ends up being this sort of like orbiter player, right? The right loves those guys. The right, they start podcasts and they create factions, right? You have the Tucker Carlson type almost, but like, not that he like ran for office, but just like, somebody like that. But they make one call and every single person on Twitter in unison within it's so coordinated. It's within a 90-minute period. Everybody tweets at the same time. Yeah. It is time for this person to step down. I no longer support this person. He is a terrible person. To the point where the guy either kills himself, like the lieutenant governor did in Virginia, or he steps down because they're threatening the whole apparatus is threatening everybody involved. Like, hey, you have to go now. Yeah. Sorry.
Well, that's the part I don't get. If you're Graham Plattner, is why would you ever step down? Like, if you just refuse to, first of all, if you're like, I'm innocent, I definitely didn't do anything inappropriate to that large lesbian woman that's saying I did. Why would you ever resign? Why wouldn't you be like, fuck this, I'm innocent, I'm not going to resign? And then like in a game theory sense, if you lose the race, it's like, well, I was innocent and you guys just didn't vote for me enough. But if you resign, you're done. Like he can never do anything ever again in his life if he like hangs his head and like resigns from the race.
Razib, what are your thoughts on the cancellation? What are you supposed to do? Do you run up the flag and surrender to the machine?
I mean, my thought, I don't have much insight on the left in terms of psychology, but I will say I think Plattner is. I don't think he was ever like really right wing or a Nazi. He's just rapey left wing guy, but his social circle is the left, and so why would he cuck out like that? I think basically he's trying to like cut his losses, because if he did dig in, he could get some leverage politically, but socially, I think he would be totally frozen out and destroyed. And I think he probably would have lost to Susan Collins because, like his left wing base was abandoned. The staffing class was abandoning him, right? And so he was a man. He was like a general without an army. And so I think he's trying to basically say, I mean, he didn't really like admit culpability when he
said he didn't do it. He said, I absolutely didn't do it. I think he's trying to kind of save whatever reputation he has for the future and like maintain his social circle. And I think that's the real issue on the left, from what I can see from my liberal male friends. I do have some of them, and it's just like they're really scared about okay, there's various reasons I don't like the term longhouse, because there's a real longhouse in the Neolithic that's like totally the opposite of what is described as a longhouse, but they are longhoused. Their professional lives can be totally destroyed by these female networks of whisper networks and stuff like that. So they're always worried about it. It's always shadowing them.
Yeah, the friend network is actually a good thing I didn't think about, or I think it's an important, because that's really kind of your money network too if you're a politician. So if everybody that ever wrote you a check, especially any big guys, go, dude, you got to drop out or I cannot fuck with you ever again. Like, you're my homeboy, but you got to bounce because, Hillary's going to kill me, if I write another check to you or something, That's the interesting part.
I mean, the thing with Plattner is also the stuff, like there was some credible stuff about sketchy behavior, but look at someone like Al Franken. He was totally railroaded. It was total BS. But he resigned because everyone behind the scene was abandoning him. And it's just like, I mean, he could have stuck it through, but, he didn't want to lose his whole social world, I think. In hindsight, he's really bitter because it's obvious bullshit. But
yeah.
Dude, you know what? The only Dem guy who pulled it off was fucking Cuomo. Cuomo was like, I'm Italian. I got a little handsy. That's how we do it in my family. And he just ran for mayor like 5 years later. Like,
and he had also built his own dynasty in New York where he was kind of insulated, I think, from that. I think that Franken thing's interesting.
Wasn't his quote, "I'm not a pervert, I'm Italian"? That's such a good quote. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Berlusconi did.
Like, yeah, definitely. Makes sense.
It's a dagger, man. We don't have anything like that on the right. There's there is no kill switch. There's no machine. It doesn't look like.
The right is very different, where like you're actually de-incentivized to be a part of the team. Like you don't once the right is like winning, once they have the White House and they're like in power, you sort of, if you're like a personality, you don't really want to be involved. You want to get like fired or ousted or something so that you can like do the podcast circuit and like complain and say it's all bullshit,
Yeah, and you get cachet from the left sometimes.
Strange new respect.
Yeah, you get that weird. Tucker enjoyed it. Candace got it.
That Joe Kent guy.
They touch that. It's like the ring.
Yeah, well, I've said this before. That's because I learned this at AmFest when I actually asked Charlie Kirk. I was like, "Yo, who do you want to be?" And I thought he was gonna say like Teddy Roosevelt or something, and he said, "I want to be Rush Limbaugh." And I always found that very interesting because I was like, "That's it? Like that's who you want to be?" The right is fundamentally obsessed with being a talking head. That's what everybody wants. At the end of the day, there's like a certain number of talking head jobs And every young dude on the right wants one of those jobs. They don't want to be mayor. Wait, ask some young guy right winger, you want to be mayor of your city? No.
It has to do
none
with
of
the
them want
right
that.
always being the
The
opposition.
heckler's veto. Yeah,
It's the opposition.
And you know what's really
you can't be a
fascinating?
true opposition guy in politics because you have to compromise, and you're always going to have to do one compromise that is the unholy compromise in your career that always will tank you to like. But you can always be Rush. And Rush you could always just say,
because it's a
fuck
market.
these pieces of
Well,
shit
and
forever.
also the left, this is very Yarvin, the left likes that. The regime wants you to be Rush Limbaugh. They want you to be the guy outside the party yelling and making it seem like there's some opposition when there's really none, you know? Like it's making it, okay, let this guy have zero power and make a lot of money screaming outside the door. You know, like that's great for them because it makes it seem like, oh, there is an opposition, but there actually isn't in reality.
Yeah, I would say the right currently is the best opposition party to the rest of the right right now. Republicans and the right have a better like infighting system than like when somebody says anything about the right from the left, it means nothing. If anything, it's like, great, that means you're one of us. But the only people that can be taken down nowadays, it seems like it has to come from the right.
Yeah. Okay. I wanted to ask, speaking of white people things, I wanted to ask Pub, who's here, about the Savannah Bananas. Can we hear about the Savannah Bananas?
Yeah, the debauchery and faggotry that white people are relegated to. Yeah, it was a blast. So I wrote a piece about it, and Isaac and Denzel are looking at it, and they're going to ungoyify it.
A lot of typos. A lot of typos in that.
Nigga, you can't
no
spell?
There are no typos in there.
He wrote it with crayons and he faxed it to us.
Today, Junior.
Sorry, Pub.
So tell us about the Savannah Bananas.
Well, it's funny. I think Denzel or Isaac, we were on a call or something, maybe like a company meeting, something like that. And I don't even remember how the subject came up. And then I was like, I wonder if they're like going to be in my area. And sure enough, a week later, they were playing at Autzen Stadium, which is the home of the Oregon Ducks, which is college team down here.
My alma mater.
Really? Is it really?
Mm-hmm. I'm from Oregon.
Small
Are
world.
you really? Yeah. Fuck the Ducks. I'm an Oregon State guy. So,
dude.
No
comment.
The capitalist, that's hilarious. The Capitalismo said that's like saying the Harlem Globetrotters are a minstrel team. That is what they were. That's what I write in the piece, that they were. Yeah, he says that's like saying the Globetrotters are a minstrel show. Would be great if so. I say in the piece,
aren't they?
That when minstrel shows were taken away from white people, we created the Harlem Globetrotters.
Right. I thought that's what that was.
So that we could still have it, but it's like, oh, but it's sports. So I remember in school, like in middle school, we would have like these competitions. Like it would be like the Globetrotters are in the area, and then like white boys would just do these crazy things. Like I remember in school we had like a walk like 5,000 miles or some stupid thing to like get Globe. I don't know how many miles it was, but it was like we were all like walking to go get like Globetrotter tickets, you know, so that we could watch these goofy blacks do crazy things, you know.
They made you do a white pilgrimage.
That was definitely like the Michelle Obama fitness challenge. Like, you have to walk 5,000 miles to get Globetrotter tickets.
They're like, you know what kids aren't doing? They're not walking.
Dude, it's
walk in a circle in your gym.
It's the long walk. They made them do the long walk.
Dude, don't even get me started on that movie. Holy shit, dude.
At the end,
so the bananas.
At the end,
so the bananas
with his black classmate, and he's like, "You take the Globetrotter ticket. You earned it."
So the Savannah Bananas are basically the baseball version of the Globetrotters, kind of like the, you know. It's kind of what white people are allowed to be. Like I say in this piece, like white people are kind of on this, like, what is the term I use? They're on this conveyor belt to extinction, and like on the way, society has to be like, what do we give them? Because they're like just around, right? They're like here, but what do they do like in the meantime. And so it's like, well, just make them like gay and like take their best thing like in sports that they did. They love sports. So like make take the Savannah Bananas or take baseball and make it like gay and fake. And so I go and it's like it's just everything, it's like these really athletic guys, like they're doing athletic stuff. It's really cool. But then they're like twerking in front of kids and like there's just this whole like unserious, like I mean my community, like the guys I grew up around, which are kind of like fratty, white guys, like we love
Shocker.
sports, it's like we're all about, so it's like, so then you go to this and it's
sports.
yeah, we do. We grew up with sports, and baseball's like the king of it because it's like you've got for autistic guys, you've got just like autistic accounting, like tons of stats, like you just love that. There's like the fraternity aspect. Baseball's very fraternal. And then there's like, unwritten rules, like white people love, unwritten rules, like a social contract. Like baseball has all sorts of unwritten rules that are like a total social contract. It's like a very white sport. And so they took it and they made it like this massive, giant, gay, I think I call it a neon, a baseball diamond-sized neon sign that says this is fake and gay or something. It's like, so, I go there and it's like looking at, it's just you can't go anywhere really and it just be a bunch of white people. Even in Oregon, which is a very white state, like you can't go anywhere and it be just like predominantly whites. This was like, I was finally in a group of just like all white people.
Wow.
Just white people as far as the eye can see. They're just like goyed out looking at this nonsense. Their kids are watching grown ass guys twerk and like, all of the rules of baseball are getting turned on its head. And it's just
hold on, Pub.
This
hold on real quick.
scene.
Pub, real quick. Can you recap how old you are?
I'm 29.
29. Jeez.
Yeah.
Little old to have zero whimsy in your soul, to be honest.
No, I'm with him, dude. I agree.
Not whimsy.
The part
This
of
was
sucks.
I don't get
Globo
is they were
homo.
twerking. There was like
They
male
dance. They
baseball
do
players
dances. I agree. It's interesting. This is, and it kind of, hold on, because this is, this is all gonna come together. Razib, how long have you been in Austin?
10 years.
So you moved. You were very early on the Austin is a cool place to go.
I don't know about very early. I think I was in the middle. I think yeah.
You were not right. There was early adopters, but you're still considered in many ways an early. I consider 2020 the year people were like, oh,
there was
Joe Rogan is like the hey guys, Austin's really cool.
Yeah, I was there before Joe Rogan.
Right. Yeah.
So I showed up on April 8th, 2016. I know because like I no longer paid California state income taxes that day. So yeah, it was, but there was a lot of areas of Austin that were like before 2010 that were sketchy, and they were no longer sketchy. Like the tech boom had already started happening, but we got a big wave of East Coasters during the pandemic. So a lot of New York showed up,
and I think a lot of people went to Austin. They did the Joe Rogan sort of thing. They said, oh yeah, people are like moving out of the cities. I'm going to go kind of live my like non-city life, but still be in the city. And I'm going to be like around cool, smart people. The Savannah Bananas, I think they latched onto this concept. I'm still sort of forming this in my head, but this is like, it's like I like kitschy white culture, but I want it to be like as gay as I am really deep down in my soul. It's like I love the idea of Austin, but like, I still need like the most homosexual thing ever, like right down the street from me, or I just can't fully feel comfortable. I don't feel like I'm in a real city.
Yeah, but isn't this just like for kids?
No,
like kids going nuts.
No,
there
definitely is like a family thing. It is billed as a family thing. So it all started as a guy that bought a minor league team, and minor league teams always do gimmicks, right? They always do like dollar beer nights, or bring your dress as a furry night. They do these gimmicks. He just like was like a marketing expert and like really turned into a big thing, and he was doing it in Savannah, Georgia. So that's just sort of like that's the parallel I'm sort of drawing is like. Savannah, Georgia, and Austin sort of have this sort of southern, old school culture. You move there, you're joining a an existing culture, and you have to buy in a little bit to be there. But that's not really what they do. They end up going there. It's like Charleston, this has happened. Not so much New Orleans, but some degree New Orleans. But like even Tennessee or Nashville, it's like once the Yankees come and the outsiders come, they do inevitably change the culture. And Savannah Bananas is like this it's sort of like this visualization of this is what you get when you totally goy out something as Americana as baseball. It's like, no, it's just like kind of fruit. It was like rap music, I'm sure. Lots of rap dancing.
Yeah, it's like the ump is like,
and the
doing
blacks
this.
love it.
Yeah.
I mean, the whites
Yeah.
love it, but they
The
think
whites
it's like
love
for
it, yeah.
blacks.
The whites, yes, that's the thing. It's like, oh, they're twerking and there's like, hip hop going on, and it's like, ooh, this is like a good melding of these cultures, and it's like from the perspective of, a Wang half, it's like this is gayest shit.
It is incredible how one-shotted white people were by twerking. Like the
Yes.
second white
Dude,
people
white
saw
people are
twerking,
one-shotted by
like,
everything, dude.
everything black people
Not
do.
A
every-
fucking black guy, dude, they put a knee on the back of a black guy, and every white person posted that dumbass black box on their dumbass faggot ass Instagram. And then they all chimped out until literally like 6 months ago. They were chimping out about niggers.
Yeah, but
it's been
I mean,
an
it's just
endless nigger chimp out.
it's a holdover from
Sorry.
like whites' ability to create great societies. It's like we're all gonna band together and do this. Like they're very good at like we are just very good at like that's how you can settle the West. It's like we're gonna build this city, we're gonna all do it together, and we're gonna be this thing. And then like now it's like it's taken, and all of that energy is used for just gay stuff. So like all white people are like, we're part of this. We're putting this thing on our Instagram because we're all in it. Like white people love to be all to every other, lots of other cultures. It's like, as much as
True.
like white people want to talk about like the rugged individualist, it's like really actually the rugged individualist is like, we're all rugged individualists. We're all doing this thing. Like that was we're all cowboys.
That is
We're
true.
all
You
Lone
actually have
Ranger. It's
to-
like
yeah.
if you're all Lone Ranger, then there is no Lone
And
Ranger.
then
You
nobody's Lone Ranger.
There is
Yeah.
something to
So you're
there's
saying
something for that.
basically white people want to belong. That's why they're at the Savannah
Well, no,
Bananas.
white people work together well,
yes.
and they think everyone else thinks the same way as them.
Right.
Well, I mean,
They're
okay,
better.
I don't know. I gotta
Right.
jump in here.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah,
growing
yeah.
up, I lived in upstate
Yes.
New York. I lived in, grew up in Oregon. I lived in California. I've been to the South a fair amount. I live in Austin. I do have to say that, there's different types of white people even in the United States.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, in Oregon, I mean, the older, I lived in Oregon in like 1990, in the 1990s, and like past that. But, there's a certain like public spiritedness that when my friends from, I lived with a guy from Georgia once, and he was like, why isn't everyone just like pissing everywhere and doing it? Now they do, Oregon used to be quite different. It used to be like, it wasn't a very corrupt state, it was much more Scandinavian back in the day,
Right.
So like there's that type of way, but then like, you go to some of the Scots Irish people, or like where you're from, like, I've been to Louisiana, like the Cajuns, I mean, they're fun, but they're not like the white people in Oregon,
No. They're not like white people, really.
I
They're
would
very
actually-
white, but they are not. They don't act like white people anywhere else.
they're Creole people, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like they got something going on there, a little bit of Gator, too much.
Yeah,
Gator.
the Creoles got their own thing, but
Yeah.
the Cajuns are
Yeah.
white trash that don't act. They're French white trash that don't act like anybody else.
They-
Just like
they can have
Canadians
fun.
to some degree. It's like
They can have, like,
Canadians.
shocking amount of fun.
Oh, dude, they're best. They're the
Yeah.
greatest. They're Catholic savages. They're completely different. I mean, they're not Americans either, though. To be fair, they like that was not the ethos they kind of like their whole genre grew up with. That was that was like 100 years
Yeah, well,
later.
the crowd at the Savannah Bananas thing was like very like suburban white, kind of like.
What city did you go to
like-
see this? What city was it?
It was in Eugene, Oregon. So now
Interesting.
Eugene is kind of it's a very liberal city. So there's that. I mean, it's definitely there is like
Isn't
There
that
are
is that where like who's the is that where Cam Haynes is from?
I don't know.
You know
Cam Haynes.
who Cam Haynes, the guy, the bow hunter. He's always on Joe Rogan.
Yes, I think he might be. I talked to Joe about this. I lived in Eugene for 15 years, so I know for a
Wow.
amount.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's the thing about
I
Oregon.
talked to Joe
Everybody
about
thinks it's like, oh, gay, hippie stuff. It's like there are swaths of Oregon. And of course, this is like everywhere, but there are like
Oh, no,
large swaths of Oregon that
I
are
grew up
just
in
like,
I grew up in Eastern Oregon. It was 75% Republican. Really
Yeah,
Mormon. Totally.
I thought
very
they were like
red.
trying to secede from Oregon,
Yeah,
right?
well,
Yeah.
they're always talking about it. Yeah, seceding with like Idaho, like becoming Greater Idaho or something like
That'd be
that. Or there's the
based.
state of Jefferson that's like Southern Oregon and Northern
Yeah.
California.
I lived in Ashland for a while, so I know all about that.
Actually, okay. Did you go to the hot springs there?
Yeah, I've gone there. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Well-
probably still smell like rotten eggs.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great. It's a once in a. I went to Crater Lake a lot.
Well,
I like
Razib,
Crater
was
Lake.
that part of your forming your? And I'm sorry if you've talked about this a million times, but I mean, is that part of that what formed sort of your current ideology? Is it like have you always been sort of free thinking based?
Yeah, I don't think it did. I think that's how I am. Like whether I'm in a
Interesting.
liberal area or a conservative area, I just like say whatever the fuck.
What did your parents do for a living?
My dad was a chemist.
Mm.
He was a college professor.
Were you first generation? What
I am. Yeah, I was
generation
born
were you?
abroad.
Okay.
I
Interesting.
moved to the United States when I was 4. No, I mean, I say I'm from Oregon. I have a special friend who is also from Oregon, and she's always like says that that I shouldn't say I'm from Oregon because I moved there when I was 13. But you know, that's where I've lived the most of my life. I lived there until I was about 30. You know, so then I moved to California and then I moved to Texas. But I go back. I have family there, so I go back there frequently. I still say I'm from Oregon. It's really sad to see what's happened to the Northwest. I have family in Seattle and Oregon, so I go back.
Wait, did you grow up in Bangladesh till you're 13?
No, until I was 4.
Oh, okay. I was about to say
Then I moved to I lived in Albany, New York until
because you
I
have
was 12.
zero accent at all.
Then I moved to Albany, New York when I was 12. When I was 4. Then I moved to Western Pennsylvania when I was 12, and then I moved to Oregon when I was 13. My accent's mostly, it's obviously West Coast generic, but if I do a vocabulary test, it will pick up that I'm on the West Coast, but I have like some things that I say that are upstate New York. Like I don't say horrible, I say horrible.
Horrible.
So that's definitely in New York.
New York. Yeah, that's
So
New York.
sometimes, yeah, when I was.
So
yeah,
you
my
don't think none of those locations impacted your general ideology?
I mean, I don't know. I've always had the same. Like that's one of the things. Like sometimes people try to, you know, sometimes the media talks to me and they're like, "Tell me about your conservative awakening," and I'm like, "What conservative awakening?"
So when
Always
you're
been kind of
saying, like,
libertarian.
Well, they're like,
always-
"Sir, you know you're brown, right? So you had to have hated white people up until been a
No, I'm very
giant
pro-white.
liberal until
I'm very pro-white. I love the white people. You know, I love all races actually, but yeah.
So is the
Me too.
baseness that you're saying is like intrinsic to you? Is that just that you are honest? That you just say whatever you think is true?
I
Or
mean,
what
I
do you
have
mean by that?
I have a particular personality profile. I think that's probably what I'm getting at. That I'm hardwired towards. Like I have very low neuroticism. So, you know, I was talking earlier today to a friend about why I'm not in academia. Thing is like, look, I got into a fight at a genetics conference. Almost got into a fight at another conference. Partly because like I just don't really care what other people say, you know, believe. I'll just like tell you what I think, and then like, you know, I can have like a room full of people screaming at me. I don't really care about that. But it would start to be a pain in the ass. Just like, do I have to like deal with this? And like, you know,
Is that how your dad was?
my dad. So that's the thing. Like, I'm a combination of my parents, and I'm like different than my parents. So my dad is introverted. Yes, my dad, he's kind of autistic to be honest, but he's introverted, so he didn't get into a lot of trouble. My mom is very extroverted. So I'm like my mom, I'm very extroverted, but I'm also very direct and honest like my dad. And so that combination together means that I'll just like say whatever I think and I don't really care. And you know, like I offend people constantly. Like, you know, like the Nazis, like they've gotten really mad at me a bunch of times because like I don't care. I'll just like tell them what I think about them, you know? You know,
well, I think
like,
it's interesting, like people who had parents that came from academia, if their parents weren't, if they were in like science or something, they usually turn out to be very, not necessarily right wing, but you know, they're just like, they don't do the, oh yeah, like I wear the pussy hat and like, you know, it's like they come from this sort of
I'll tell you
distance, you know, of being able to distance themselves from emotions and things like that.
You know, I guess like, you know, rationalists would say I'm a high decoupler, which I probably am. But you know, like last year I was at a party I was actually at the my company's party, and was hanging out with so I know a lot of people in Austin, usual circle, and I don't remember what I was talking about. Someone was talking about church, and I was like, oh, I'm an atheist, and I've always been an atheist, and this one guy is like, oh, it's not very popular anymore, like being atheist, and I was like, why would I care? Like, I mean, it's just like, I'm just like, you just like showed yourself to be retarded that you would actually say that to me, because like, why the fuck? Like, if you believe in God, you believe in God. You believe in because you're popular. What kind of retard are you? But anyway, I kinda told him that.
When did you become an atheist?
I've always been an atheist. Just
From
never,
birth?
I mean, it's like the first time I realized what God was, I was like, oh, I don't believe in that. So I was like 5.
Oh, dude.
You and Yarvin are both, as he says, Reddit grade atheists.
My grandfather was an imam. I come from like very like imams on both sides. I'm actually a pretty good Christian preacher. Like, I converted my ex-girlfriend to Christianity. That's a whole different story that I don't want to say on the podcast. But it's a funny story. It's a very funny story.
When you're with women, do you want like a based woman, or do you want a woman who's like apolitical and not really?
I mean, I'm mostly with based women, but I have a pretty good funnel for that, and I can convert them pretty quickly too.
He's got a good funnel, dude. He's got the con funnel. So
That's
your
no-
parents were never mad that you were kind of not liberal, but you were not religious, I meant to say.
Well, when they were not happy, but what are they going to do? It's America.
This is the issue with the Muslim. My wife's Pakistani, and her parents are based. Her dad's died, but her mom's very based. But my wife's a libtard, and so I am just like, what do you do?
Yeah, I have issues.
So I just text anti-Semitic memes with her mom. That's all we do. Joking.
I mean, yeah, I have a lot of problems with. I have a lot of problems with brown people because there's so many of them are shit libs. It's just like
the second generation are all shit libs.
Yeah, especially the women.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nobody who hates white people more than like a kind of unattractive Indian woman. They're the people.
Well, no,
who
she hates the idea of them. She loves to bang them always.
Yeah, but like she
that's
just hates them.
What was her name? Like Bimbo? I forget, the Egyptian one.
Yeah.
She has a whole thing about how these women, they want to be colonized.
Yes.
They want to ride the pink rocket. It was like really great. She deleted the tweets, but it was really good. It's totally true. It's like they're like the opposite. They're like the opposite about the white supremacists. You never ask the white supremacist about the race of their girlfriend.
Yeah.
Never ask an anti-white brown chick or like East Asian chick about the race of their boyfriend, because you know exactly. He's gonna be some ginger ass dude, like
ginger
AOC's,
every time.
You know what I'm trying to say? I'm like,
it's AOC's husband every time.
I'm like, you went for the uber whites. You went for the white of the whites. Like, who the fuck are you trying to kid? Anyway.
Yeah. It's because they just view them as like, oh my God, this beautiful being.
Well, they look at them as the prodigal son of like, oh, you've like turned against your own people. You're basically one of us.
Yeah, right.
I don't psychologize it too much, but like, they really hate me. They really hate me.
Yeah, no, you would probably drive a woman like that truly out of her fucking mind, because they look at you and they're just like, no, like, completely. Like especially like you're saying all this race stuff, it probably drives them completely out of their minds.
Well, actually, a couple of years ago, 3 years ago now, NATOCon, it was NATOCon 2023, I think. A lot of people had to pull out for random reasons, not because they were like, disassociating.
They had to pull out of NATOCon?
Yeah, like Louise Perry, okay? Like, this was all of their people that they had to pull out, Yes, I use that word purposely. But anyway.
Pulling out of NATOCon.
So I was one of the more prominent people that was still on their list. And so the media had to like write a hit piece. And so of course they like profiled me. And they have a picture of me from Coleman Hughes' show on the cover of Austin Weekly, like local white nationalist Razib Khan. And so like so everyone like around town, or like my friends are like taking pictures, like they're just like, look, you're in the paper. I'm like, yeah, it's like, it is what it is.
It's like they already form wrote the article and they were like, fuck, everybody's left. All we have is this guy Razib Khan. Just fuck it, we'll do it live. Just call him a fucking white nationalist. Who cares?
It's fine.
Call him a white Christian nationalist. Nobody's gonna say anything.
I do think in the overall race rankings, Indian people are definitely like not having a good year. I gotta be honest.
Dude, did you just see the Xbox CEO chick?
No.
First off, this is really gonna get me a lot of hate. She's kind of money. God kind of like it. She's kind of money. B, she fired like 3,000 Americans basically from Xbox and then applied for like 3,000 H-1B visas. And then the Federal Reserve like appointed her to like the jobs board chair. So the fucking Jeets are doing really good,
Dude, this chick has the most like sinister smile I've ever seen in my life.
Dude. That is like
the most just like I am here to destroy your nation, like evil smile I've
that's
ever
a
seen.
classic DC.
But would.
Indian.
But you're right. She's
DC
actually not bad.
Indian girl.
Yeah.
Just
Look at
She's-
that.
she's
my
her
kinda
God.
parents
Where do they
both
get
have to
these
be like
people?
ophthalmologists or something like that. You know.
Oh my God. Yeah. These people.
Yeah,
are
they're so
horrifying.
they're so like climby, and you know what I'm saying. It's just like
Yeah.
they gotta do everything that's in the guidebook to like success. It's
Right.
just like, can you just be like, can you have one creative bone? Like, yes, I understand that you read somewhere that you have to like talk shit about oppression and colonialism. Can you just shut the fuck up for a second? Anyway,
But here's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
what is the, and maybe this is just maybe I'm reading too much into this, but how does somebody come to America from Bangladesh and their son ends up based, and the other person comes, from India or whatever, and their daughter is like she has to still be based, but just playing a different game, right? Like
depends.
like all Asians are just based, even if they play in the leftist game.
yeah, I think there is something to that, because I do know some of them. When you get a few beers in them and stuff like that,
Right.
they'll be honest. They'll be like, yeah, like you shouldn't say what you say, like that's gets you in trouble. But yeah, that's true. It's like I don't know. I mean, not
Like you
always
can't be the CEO of a company without being sort of a
notice certain things.
unless you want to run it into the ground. And it's like, I think that's part of the reason we
Yeah.
only let foreigners run our companies now. Because it's like, I can't let a white guy do the things that we have to do. But if I let the brown chick do it, nobody's going to call her racist. But then they end up just hiring 1 million Indians because it's cheaper.
Yeah, I don't know. I do hope that was a thing in 2020 for sure. I do hope that that's past us, but I don't know. We'll see. I don't know.
Dude, well, this chick, I don't know. What is going on at
She's just
Xbox? Holy
she's,
shit.
She's gonna fire y'all, as they say.
Dude. And she
Oh,
is, I would love to be in that meeting when she fires me.
The CEO of Xbox should be a morbidly obese white man. Of
Yeah.
course.
It should be who's the
Ridiculous.
guy that did
He's using the product.
Negan? Is that the guy that ran Steam or whatever forever? Negan?
Yeah, Gabe something.
Gabe.
That fat guy. Yeah, exactly. That's who should be the CEO of Xbox. It's like, imagine if that dude was the CEO of like Sephora. That just wouldn't be right.
I think white people are actually the least collectivist of the races. And
Did
that's
you just read that off of the Mossad talking points that we had for this fucking...
it says here
I think-
to say that no, I think that's true. I think that that's like, white people are the deranged penguin in the deranged penguin meme. Like that's what white. I lived in Vietnam and I was a lawyer at a law firm as an intern, and I did a weekend with the entire law firm, and it was like 60 Vietnamese people and me. I was the only white person there. And it was just me hanging out with 60 Vietnamese people for 3 days on the beach. And what I noticed is that they were never alone. They never spent any time alone at all. Like, being alone was like the worst thing they could be. Everywhere they went, they were together. Everything they did, they were together. Men and women, and not even really gender separate, really, that much. Whereas I was like, oh my God, I have to just like go be away from people for a while because I can't deal with just the constant chatter fucking. And I feel like the more primitive a culture is, this is what Longhouse means in my view, the more primitive a culture is, the more kind of female dominated it is, and the more like togetherness there is, the more everybody's just like around each other all the time. Whereas I think what makes white people good at what they do is like they kind of want to be alone, particularly Americans. Americans don't like fucking really other people in their shit very much. I think that that's kind of like a distinctly American thing. I don't
Well,
know
I
what
mean,
you think of the stew.
we got a lot of space here. That's one thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
see, we're not cheek
Yeah,
by chow.
Jews kind of are like that as well, where they are like interested in their own neurotic, isolated, self-obsessed world, but they like maintain like ethnic loyalty on a larger scale, despite like personally being neurotic and lonely. You know?
Yeah, yeah. I find the opposite of everything you just said is true in many ways too. But I think there's something to be said for what you're saying. There's something to be said about, and I think this is maybe deeper. Might be like the mix of Puritan and Cavalier, because again, this is sort of depends where you are in the U.S. Like Razib was talking about before, because there's something to be said for like Southerners they're in everybody's business. Everybody knows everybody's fucking business all the time. And it's a very different sort of thing. And it is sort of, and maybe that is sort of like there is some third worldness to that. It is sort of the Scotch Irish and the French Low Country and the blackness of the black scandalism of the South.
Do you guys know about the Pacific? Do you guys know about the Seattle freeze, Pacific Northwest freeze?
No.
It's more of a thing. You know, you're from California, right?
I grew up in Chicago, actually.
Okay, so you know, when I lived in California, my California friends would always complain about this. So basically, you know, a lot of people are like, "Oh, like I'm sick of like San Francisco. I'll move to Portland. I'll move to Seattle." They get there and like they can't make any friends, and it's because people in the Pacific Northwest, they just keep to themselves. They have their friends from high school. They have their friends from college. They're not gonna make new friends. And like if you're from California and Oregon, which, you know, when I moved to Austin and when I go back to Oregon, I realize how hateful people in Oregon are to people in California. Because here in Austin, yeah, there's a little bit of resentment, but really they're very open and welcoming to people from everywhere. Like literally, that's true. So in Pacific Northwest, there's like a whole stereotype, which I didn't know about because I'm from there, that we're just like, you know, cold and we don't let in outsiders and we just keep to ourselves.
The whole West Coast is like that. LA is like that.
Well, maybe, but like definitely the South is not like that.
Yeah.
And people in the South, like, you know, it's like obviously like, you know, I'm like a foreign exotic looking person, but if I'm like, you know, some like down home real Texans, they're like, y'all come on over and like, you know, have some brisket, you know, just like, you want to come to my church. They have the things that they say, but they're very open and welcoming, and it's just part of their culture. You know, hospitable. They're very hospitable. A lot of cultures are like that. You know, Arabs are like that too in their own way. Like, you know, whatever. Like, it's just part of the culture. It's not like that in a lot of Northern and Western American cultures. Okay, Scandinavians are not like that too either. Scandinavians and Nordic people, Finnish people, Scandinavia a lot. They're not like that either.
You can tell also that Slavs are like the lowest form of white because Slavs have that third world communalism to them.
I call my you know, so I'm friends with like Samo Buria. I was from Slovenia, you know, and I was like, you people, you Slavs, you're snow browns.
Wait, but Slovenia is not. Sure. Slovenia is not Scandinavia.
No, Slovenia is Slav.
Yeah.
I'm saying Slovenia is kind of Slovenians also, by the way, like actually I know several Slovenians. You know, they're very white looking, like, you know, Samo looks Scandinavian to a lot of people.
Yeah.
But their body language is very Italian. It's weird.
Interesting. Yeah.
They're right there because they're part of Austro-Hungary. They're part of Austro-Hungary. They're very cultured.
Yeah. I mean, that's all where, that's where a lot of the Ashkenazi blood comes from. That whole area.
No. Well, Italy.
Way further east. Way further east. The Ashkenazi blood.
No, there's both. They have Italian. They have all of that.
I don't think that's.
Well,
really
they
migrated Italian to.
Yeah, they came up through France into Germany, and then they mixed with the Moravian Jews. Anyways, like I've written about this, but
yeah, he literally wrote a book.
Well, no. So what is it? Are they? But they're not. So this is something we talk about.
I'll give you like the quick rundown because this is like the best model we have right now. So basically, if you look at Ashkenazi ancestry, you break up the typical Ashkenazi, and they're descended from like, you know, a few tens of thousands of people in the Middle Ages that underwent demographic expansions to 1300. Hello?
Uh-oh. That's it. No, I was just expanding you as you were doing yours. Sorry.
You freaked me out.
I was trying to like produce the show.
Oh my god. This Zionist overlord, like, just like, no.
That was weird.
My bad. Start over.
Assad has cut off the transmission.
Yeah. You cannot
my golden pager exploded. My bad.
Okay, so basically, the way you can think about it is you take an Ashkenazi Jew and you break up their genetics to certain components, right? So the best model right now is about 40% of their ancestry is ancient Levantine ancestry. So kind of like the Druze or Assyrian Christian would be a good model. Okay, so that's about 40%. What about the other 60%? The other 60%, about, let's say like 50% of that is very similar to the ancestry of a generic Central to Northern Italian. And about 10% of it, on the order of 10% of it, is Northern European. So it could be Germanic, could be Slavic, probably Slavic. But when you look at the ancient DNA and stuff like that, so like there's some sites in Erfurt in central Germany where they found that two Jewish populations mixed. So one Jewish population is much more has more Levantine ancestry, no Northern European ancestry, and does have a substantial amount of the Italian ancestry, right? The other Jewish population, which seems to have come from the east, from Greater Moravia around 1000 AD, probably so that Jewish population is like 20-25% Northern European, probably Slavic ancestry, and then it has obviously Levantine ancestry, but less of the Italian-like ancestry, right? So the Ashkenazi Jewish population, which is defined by the liturgy, except the Yekis in the Rhineland have a slightly different liturgy. But basically, you guys know about Rashi, like some of you are Jews, you know about Rashi, right? So Rashi is from the Rhineland community, from like Trier, I think. About 1000 AD. So that community is the cultural foundation of Ashkenazi Jewry in terms of the liturgy. And in central Germany, they mixed with a group of Eastern Jews from Greater Moravia, modern Czech Republic, etc., that brought in more Slavic-like ancestry. They were probably speaking some sort of Judeo-Slavic. So their language and culture kind of disappeared because they were probably lower social status, frankly, than the Jews that are coming in from the Rhineland. And so Ashkenazi Jews are culturally more like they're descended from the Rhineland Jews. Like they go to the lineage of Rashi, but genetically they're about 40% Eastern, like Greater Moravia, and 60% Western. Now these Western Rhineland Jews, they have a connection in terms of like their Levantine ancestry and their European ancestry is very similar to the ancestry of the original Sephardic Jews, okay, in Spain. But those Sephardic Jews themselves, by 1492, about a third of their ancestry was Moorish Jewish. So if you subtract that one
disgusting. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, so if you subtract that 1/3 and you make them 100% original Sephardic, like late Visigothic, early Muslim period, that is the foundation of the Jews. That also some of them went into France, into southern France, and then into the Rhineland. And so like when you work it back that way, there's like multiple streams, and one stream starts in Italy and seems to have gone west and then north. Another stream seems to have started in Italy. This is our best guess right now. And then went east into Pannonia, and then up into Greater Moravia, right? And then they came back together by about 1250, 1300, and they started mixing, and they created the Ashkenazi Jews. There are some slight differences between Galicianers and Litvaks and stuff like that, but genetically, it's all very homogenous, and that's why Ashkenazi Jews on these ancestry tests come out as all fourth cousins, because you go back to the genealogy, they collapse back to like these tens of thousands of people that went through the demographic bottleneck. The only exception are the Yekis and the Rhineland, who are somewhat genetically distinct because they're kind of the precursor population before they moved eastward. Anyway,
but the Galicianers, that's what my family is on my mother's side. They are. That's like way further east than you're talking about.
Yes.
So how did they get out all the way over there?
That's because they were brought in. First of all, there was multiple expulsions out of Germany, France, England, so they had to go somewhere. They went into Great Poland, Lithuania. Lithuania did not have kind of like a literate class that was very numerous. They had some Germans in certain parts, so either Germans or Jews took the part of like the literate middleman caste between the landed aristocracy and the vast peasantry, right? And so they came in as like merchants, as administrators, et cetera, et cetera. That's why like Hasidic Jews, and like Haredi in general, they dress like 18th century Polish nobles, right? Like that outfit is from the Polish lesser nobility. The people that they worked with, the people that they worked for. And so the Ashkenazi Jews came in and underwent a massive demographic expansion. In fact, their fertility was like massive in the 18th century, to the point where the Gentiles were starting to worry that the Jews were going to outnumber them. Obviously, that changed in the 19th century with the Jewish Enlightenment, and then the demographic transition happened. But basically, it's a population that in 1300 was relatively small, and then compounding. It just expanded rapidly, and it expanded rapidly partly with Poland, Lithuania, which I think you guys probably know, used to extend from modern central Ukraine up into Belarusia, obviously Lithuania and Poland, but also even like into like Hungary and other. It was huge, right? It was this huge domain that they expand into, and that needed a literate class, and Yiddish. I mean, they knew Yiddish, but they could do German, they could do Polish, they could do whatever you need to do, right?
So is there any genetic connection whatsoever between Sephardim and Ashkenazis?
Yes, the Ashkenazis are actually they are the Western lineage that are coming through the Rhineland through Rashi. They're split off from the same lineage that gave rise to the Sephardim in Spain.
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
So the Sephardim, when you look at them, they're like about like 50-50 Levantine, and then like Italian-like, okay? And in fact, 10% of the Sephardim Y chromosome is Western European R1b haplogroup. Like, that's clearly introgression. That's like, Spanish, Iberian and Italian males that were integrated into the Sephardim. Sephardim are somewhat different because, like, just like I said, like after 1000 AD and like during the Moorish period, they mixed with the Jews of North Africa. Okay. And then later they were kicked out and they became the Jews of North Africa. So the Sephardic communities all across the Mediterranean are a synthesis of indigenous Jews. So, for example, the Syrian Jews are Sephardic in their liturgy, but there's this indigenous Syrian liturgy that disappeared in the 19th century from Jews that were there before 1492. In Salonika, in Greece, you had one Jewish community, the Romaniats, the indigenous Greek Jews. They were numerous enough and culturally resilient enough to actually resist the Sephardim. So Salonika was a split community. It was 50% Sephardic and 50% Romania. It was Greek liturgy, like the Greek rite. And obviously Nazis killed 90% of both of them. But the point is, like, you had a few areas, like in Greece, where the indigenous Jewish population resisted the cultural domination of the Sephardim. In Iraq, the Mizrahim, the Iraqi Jews, they had their own liturgy until the 18th century. And then there was, I think it was smallpox, and killed so many of their rabbis, they had to import rabbis from Aleppo. And so that's why they have Sephardic liturgy. Anyway.
Interesting. This is fascinating.
Dude, that is fucking... Hub's head is exploding.
Sorry, I know a lot of Jew
so
facts.
much Jew facts.
I know a lot of Jew facts.
Hub's mind is just a Savannah Bananas game right now.
Yeah,
just
it's
like,
just
take me
he's
to a
so
Savannah
upset that he
Bananas
just
game.
learned about the
Please.
Jews that
Sorry,
much.
Get me away from
sorry
here.
guys. I was praying to Hitler for a second.
A Jew.
Please. A Jew.
Hitler's a Jew.
Well, I'm hearing Jews are white. Like the summary I'm getting.
Yeah,
like,
I didn't realize that's actually. They're way more like I thought. They're way more Western European than I thought. I thought they were way further east. So that's interesting. I had no idea.
I mean, is that fair, Razib? Would you say Jews are white? Would that be?
I mean, generally, my own personal opinion is Ashkenazi Jews are white. But
wait, let's ask Pub. Pub, are Ashkenazi Jews white?
Oh, thanks for asking the white guy and not the Indian. Yeah.
He said yes.
No. Ashkenazi Jews are not white.
Oh
So
my
can you
God.
lay it out? Can
That's
you
amazing.
debate with facts and logic why we're not white?
I don't care about facts and logic. I do not care about that.
Fucking feelings.
Can you
Feels
show
right.
me on a spreadsheet
this
exactly
is-
how? No, I don't
Yeah,
care. Jews
Yeah,
are not
that's
white.
obviously the
You're
joke,
dealing with-
Bub. That's
Dealing with
I'm
100
obviously.
100 proof goy brain. 100 proof.
That's not that
goy
funny
brain.
because that was the joke I was making. Anyway, continue.
Pub, I'm gonna sue you. Watch out. I'm suing
He's
you
gonna
for
sue
this.
you
For
for defamation.
lawfare. Get
Or
ready.
Harrison's performative wheeze laugh. We can barely get out of his.
Performative? You think I risk a heart attack laughing to perform?
No, lay it out. Why are Ashkenazi white Jews? So you're saying like Jerry Seinfeld is not white, or like Larry David is not
Jerry
white.
Seinfeld's mother is Syrian. Just so you know.
Okay, so he's definitely not white.
Ugh.
Wow,
Disgusting.
organ harvester, organ harvesting mother makes a lot of sense.
Jewel harvester.
No, so like a white ass Jew that any person in the world, if they met them, would be like that person is white.
Never met one.
Why
by
are
the
they
way.
not white? I want to know.
Everyone I meet looks like Denzel.
White.
Fucking, you look like vampire.
Vampire.
You look like
boy.
I mean, I
literally
don't really-
straight out
yeah,
of Transylvania.
I'm less interested in like the breakdown because the term white has just been bastardized. So it's like I'm not
Right.
really like
It's fair.
I don't care too much, and but I joke a lot that Ashkenazi Jews are white. I mean, I think that there is distinct white culture that because America kind of became the hub for, industry and finance and all that. It's like the English language being the language of finance around the world. It's like asking somebody what's the English language? Well, it's been just like absolutely butchered to be anything, right? Like, and it's become so simplified and dumbed down so that like a Chinaman can communicate in English so that they can get their business done. Like white has just become pretty much anything and everything. So it's very of course it's going to be difficult to be like, oh, well, here's why this is not white. But no, I just don't consider them to be white. Like if I were to say I want America to be like 80% white, 85% white, it just doesn't include Ashkenazi Jews. It would be like Anglos,
Well, yeah, but that's your
Germanic
ethno
would be
state.
fine. Like I even like a lot of people say Italians are not, but then they also want to be like super base like Roman edits. It's like those were Italians. So like I don't know. A lot of white people want to like. Yes, they do, Harrison. I'm in these group like they'll do like these super base.
No,
like,
but I mean,
Roman
are
edits, and it's
Romans
like, but then-
Italians really though?
Definitely, right?
Yeah,
well,
I wrote.
Italians also like
No, I wrote
separate
about
southern
this
and
too.
northern.
Hold on.
Italians.
What
Like,
is?
so-
Yeah.
Yeah, Razib, help.
Yeah,
me
so I
have-
wrote about. I've done some podcasts. I've written about this, and like I actually gave some presentations. So basically, we have ancient DNA. The best evidence is what happened is the Roman cities became heavily bastardized. I'm gonna use the word bastardized. I don't mean pejoratively. During the imperial period by non-Italians.
Right.
But what happens is cities in the pre-modern world, and in fact in the modern world, are demography shredders. So people can only exist in cities with massive migration in. And so when the empire ended, all the cities just basically disappeared. So Rome, for example, famously went from 2 million people in 400 AD or whatever. Let's say 1 million in 400 AD, probably 2 million, maybe closer to 2 million in 150. In any case, 1 million in 400 AD to 50,000 in 600 AD. And so that's because like you like children just die, okay? And so you need people from the outside. And what happened is where people survived was in rural areas. So in rural Italy, where there wasn't that much migration from other parts of the empire, those people filled into the cities. And so medieval Rome, for example, looks much more like Republican Rome than imperial Rome. And so modern Italian, like there is some Gothic, there is some Eastern Mediterranean, particularly in Sicily, which was under Muslims for 250 or 200 years. But like if you go to like Tuscany, the majority of their ancestry is the same as the Etruscans who lived there, 2,500 years ago. So there is predominant continuity. Greece actually has less continuity because it's about 30% Slavic. Okay. So anyway, that's that.
Well, where was Tuscany in relation to Athens and
Well, Tuscany is the region in Italy.
Athens is in Greece.
Yeah,
I understand
Tuscany
that.
is in the region right north of Rome, right?
But hold on. Right.
Etruria. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
These
The
are
best
so
wine
the
in the
Romans.
world.
So the Romans are Roman in still. Are Italians or Romans?
To a first approximation, yes, you can say that, right? They were not replaced, mostly because the rural areas were not impacted by the mass migration so much. It was the cities,
Okay.
but the cities don't produce anything for the future demographically.
Yeah. Well, then my response to Pub is like, dude, I can do a Roman fucking edit, but Italians still need to leave this country as soon as possible. I
I'm suing
truly
Pub
believe
until
that.
he admits that Jews are white. I'm suing you. Watch that, Pub. It's
No, I
coming.
agree that
Lawfare.
Jews
Just say
aren't white because then you would find Jews at the Savannah Bananas game.
it.
None of them were
Jews,
there.
Jews got to go. Italians and Irish probably should all go.
Well,
back.
Jews always go though, and most
They have to
others
go.
don't
Why were they
go.
kicked out of North Africa? Razib.
They get kicked out of everywhere.
I mean, yeah,
They
bro.
get kicked out all the time.
That's inevitable. It's just gonna happen.
Yeah, because they suck.
I mean, I know why. I just wanted you to say it.
Yeah, have you ever hung out with a
I'm
Jewish
thinking
person?
it.
But I like Jews. Maybe I'm gonna get kicked out. But
People
whatever.
always say this, but it's like, who else were you going to kick out? There was just Jews back then.
It was
weren't
it.
gonna
It was
kick
just
out-
everyone else and Jews.
I mean, if
Everybody
you're
was the
in like
same race.
Poland, there's not like Somalis to kick out. Like if you're going to kick someone out,
But,
That's not
okay,
true.
yeah, no, hold
No,
on,
that's not
Razib. This
true
is
at all,
a good
dude.
question, though. So if
These
I'm in
Muslims were
North
very
Africa,
diverse.
I'm in Tunisia. Do I just, if I look at a Jew, what does he look like at that time? A white guy?
Wait, when?
Let's say like at the height of Jews in so when, I don't know, what would that have been, the 1100s?
Yeah, I mean, okay. I mean, the thing is
Maybe before
here-
true Islam takes
okay,
over. I don't know.
here's the thing. The way the easiest way to define white for me is like, can you get citizenship by the rules of the 1790 statute? Okay.
Okay,
By
sure.
the 1790 statute, which was enforced locally, by the way, Ashkenazi Jews got like grudgingly, but they did give them citizenship. They give Italian citizenship. They even gave Syrian citizenship. That was
They
as
were
far as-
giving everybody citizenship back.
No.
then.
The Indians tried to get citizenship, and they were like, "No, you're not white."
The savages, not the
No. Asian Indians.
the
Because
Bajit.
like Orientals could not get citizenship, and so they had to they had to adjudicate. So there was like there's like also like they actually objected. This was mostly because they were communists, but they objected to Finns. They call them China Swedes because some of the Finns are Asiatic looking.
They are kind of Asian.
Yeah,
Right.
because they're about 10% Siberian. Like that's true.
Right,
But
right.
that's where their language is from. But they call them China Swedes, and they're like they should not be naturalized. This was in Minnesota because you're not white. Actually, the reason is because they were communist. But set that aside. The judges looked at it and they're like, yeah, like they're kind of weird, but like look at them, they're pretty much white. So they're like, okay, So like we have like case law in the United States for up until like the 1950s about who was and wasn't white, and I just go by that.
So for all of our sakes, where do white people begin and end? Is there any ambiguity? Do white
so
people
Europe-
exist? Is it a social
No,
construct?
genetically, the
What a
people-
gonzo question, bro.
genetically people that you would like identify that I can like identify as European in the genetic test, they don't really exist before 3000 BC because Europeans are a mix of like 3 dominant strains. European
White people are
forager.
3,000 years old. That's
No,
a great-
5,000.
great-
Well,
5,000 years old.
Well, okay, 4 to
They're only
5,000.
5,000 years
4
old.
to 5,000. 4 to 5,000. Okay, let's put 4 to 5,000.
It's young. It's a young
There's
race.
lots of- Well, browns are the same. Like a lot of races are pretty
Well,
young.
black people are
Actually,
Bro.
browns are
billion years
younger.
old, right?
What's the oldest race that's still
Wait,
around?
Yeah, okay, first
Blacks,
of all,
right?
we're all equally like, but like Khoisan seem to have like
The original South
okay,
Africans.
you know what? I'm not gonna say it in a nerd way. It's the Khoisan. Okay, it's the Bushmen. Okay, like
The Bushmen.
I can defend myself in a more nerdy way, but I'm not gonna say it that way. But that's the
They're
answer that
the
you
oldest
want, right?
people.
Yeah. So they split off from everybody else 200,000 years ago, right?
Wow.
And so that's just how it
Khoisans
is.
are the original South Africans. They were
Uh-huh.
they were raped and pillaged by the
Yes,
the
Bantu,
Bantoids.
Bantu,
Yeah, they
yeah,
are
yeah.
weird looking. They're a weird looking.
Yeah, they're like
group.
Asian-y
Yeah,
brown.
they have epicanthic folds.
Or,
their skins are lighter.
Dude, I want to go hang out with some Khoisans. Can we get some of them around? Where
I've
are
seen
they at?
Khoisans. I've seen some Khoisans. Not much to see there. But Native Americans, this is a little bit of a pivot. Native Americans are kind of Chinese.
Okay, so Native
Right.
Americans. Okay, again,
Yeah,
like,
they're
I can give
Asian.
you the.
Yeah,
I'll
I
give
think
you the
it's all
percent-
one
I'll
people.
I'll
My
give you the
theory.
percentages. I'll give you the percentages. Native Americans are about 65% split off from people that are split off from like the Chinese and all those Northeast Asians about 25,000 years ago. But the other 35% of their population is Paleo-Siberian, which is actually a contribution that is in 20% Europeans, Northern Europeans. Okay, and actually it's in South
crazy
Asia.
'cause
Yeah.
So Native Americans.
It almost sounds
are
like you're saying that
Asian?
Native Americans aren't Native or American.
I mean, there was probably an earlier people that they killed, but I wrote
Sounds
about
like
that in
Facts and
Palladium.
Logic Pub.
I wrote
Sounds
about
like
that
you're using
Palladium.
Facts and Logic
Wow.
right
And
now.
even earlier people. What was that people like?
They were probably distantly related to Australian Aborigines.
Wow.
I mean, I wrote about type Razib Khan Palladium Native Americans. I kind of wrote about it. It's really weird, but anyway,
So they're like Wasians who became very tan after a
sort
long
of. But
time.
the thing is, like, again, like these Paleo-Siberians are like different than any. They don't exist in pure form anymore, and they're not like any modern people. But they contributed to Native Americans, to people in South Asia, to people in Central Asia, to people in Europe. My Y chromosome, like R1b, the dominant Y chromosome in Western Europe, is from them, but my Y chromosome is also from them. The lineage R, So
Wow. This is the Native Americans before the Native Americans. Great angle. Great article. Really.
yeah, it was quite popular because like people were like, "What the fuck?" But it's not making it up.
Okay. So before we leave, I think we don't have too much time left. I need to know what are the boundaries of white people? Who's in? Who's out?
I mean, dude, it's about. I mean, like, for me, it's like if you look white, you're white, right? So it's like most people in Europe.
Boo.
Yeah, bro, we want parameters. Clear one.
Boo. No, I don't want any parameters. I just want you to say the truth, which is the Jews are not white and Puerto Ricans are.
Dude, but then what?
Fat
you're
Puerto
telling me
Ricans
I'm
are white, Jews are not.
I mean,
Look
some
at
Jews-
Denzel. Look at the Sephardic
mean-
hook nose
That's fair.
fucking
That's fair.
piece of shit. Oh my God. He looks like he's going to serve you 1,000 sardines
Yeah.
on a boat in the Mediterranean right now.
I don't
and
know,
then
but
stab you to
but-
death.
I think it goes back to like we're just not serious about classifying people anymore. Like even saying
I'm serious.
We're just
I'm
not.
serious
I
about.
mean-
I classify people.
no,
all the
I know
time.
you are. We are.
Fucking
But it's
serious
just like
as hell about it.
yeah, I mean, like the use of the term white and black and brown, like those are like very, very new, and they're unserious terms. So they are like if you go back 100 years
Black
ago,
is
they
new?
were not. Yeah, I
It's in
mean,
the Constitution.
way
that's
that-
the
yeah,
they're
thing, like,
saying
I can
white in the
tell you
Constitution.
The way that-
that was
when
300
someone's
years ago.
black.
So they were definitely saying white 300 years ago.
no,
That's
they were
literally in there.
absolutely, but it would be more common to call somebody by their actual
Okay. I
don't think
actual.
that's true.
Okay, we're not
white-
gonna type. No, I will
yeah.
say
That
in
is
his
true,
defense-
Razib,
in
you
hi-
can back
yeah,
me up on that.
in his defense, these terms did exist, but they didn't have their modern connotations.
Yeah.
So, for example, when Europeans first showed up in East Asian waters, obviously Japanese don't look like Europeans, but they have light skin, and so like Europeans were like, well, they have white skin, but their faces look kind of fucked up. You know, that's basically what they said. So are they white or not? Eventually, they realized, okay, we'll just call them yellow, okay? Because like they can't be the same color because they're obviously not the same race, right? And so like this is the kind of thing where it's like, so for example, when Greeks saw people from southern India, they're like, oh, they look like Ethiopians, but what's up with their face and their hair, you know? And so like these are the sort of things that ancient peoples had to confront. But like since they didn't like live in a multiracial country like the United States, it wasn't a big deal. Then in the United States, you have black people, you have indigenous Native Americans, you have white people. So all of a sudden they're like, okay, like let's make these color terms, let's make them simple because we got to organize society around this.
It's
The
like
Roman-
it's like when white people first saw somebody with Down syndrome, they said, oh, that's a Mongoloid.
That's what I'm trying to say. That's
That's
I'm
an
trying to say.
Asian.
Oh, actually, Khoisan.
My baby's
the
Asian. He's
Bushman,
not
the Bushman.
retarded.
So my late friend Henry Harpending was a anthropologist in South Africa, in like Botswana, and when they first met Vietnamese aid workers, the Khoisan were like, "Oh, they look just like us," because they even though they obviously
do.
are totally different, but they're
Like a
just
true jungle Asian looks like a frickin' Khoisan.
yeah. So he was like, because they're small, they have the apicanthic folds, like the flat faces.
Yeah.
And so they were
really
like, oh my
do
God,
look
they're
Asian.
like, who are these people that look just like us? And why are they like, the Vietnamese were doing like.
But did they really, were they taking boats? Like, I don't believe that they were taking canoes like across the Pacific to get to like Peru.
No. I don't think that's what it was. So basically, the simple
Not the Khoisan, but I just mean like how the
no.
Peruvians existed and they
but
all
when you're-
are
when you're
Asian
talking-
or Chinese.
When you're
or something.
talking about like the earliest, I think Asia was like the world, like, okay, like all I can say is like you listen to my podcast, you can read some of my stuff. The world was very different. 5,000 years ago and like 10,000 years ago, it was really fucking different. 20 or 30,000 years ago, it's mind-blowingly different. Any geneticist looks at like, what the fuck? Like, it's really hard to like, it's like our categories don't make any sense. Everything is like scrambled. People look totally different. I will leave you guys with this. Like about like, say like 4,000 BC, there's central Germany, like kind of around the Rhineland in that area. There's two types of people there. Like there are these farmers and there's these foragers, right? So they're living in central Germany. You know where that is. They're living right near each other. The foragers are living in forested areas and uplands, and the farmers are living in the lowlands. Okay, genetically, they are as different, and they were like this for 1,000 years. Like they weren't intermarrying very much. They were genetically as different as modern Germans and Chinese people, and they look quite different. Okay. So that was like right like 500 years, or it was 1,500. It was like 1,000 years before the pyramids. Okay.
Wait, so like the conspiracy theories that Chinese people are actually alien, like insect people that came separately, like on a different comet. That's probably not true.
No.
I think
we're-
if anything, white people are the aliens in the.
But like
natural
all of us
Earth
are
people
too
the-
genetically similar
Well, people
humans
outside of
today.
People outside of Africa.
Wait, say that again?
I said people outside of Africa, and like this is a different podcast. We don't want to open that right now, but
I could do 4 more hours about this.
I know.
Well, this implicates.
I'm going to
have
come
you
to
seen
Austin and I'm going to get us
Razib-
kicked out of a restaurant because
Yeah.
I just want to. I want you.
Wait,
I
Razib.
need to know.
Have you seen the theory that was reflected in a great book called Kon-Tiki about because there's a huge mystery.
He's not totally wrong about everything. Like he's wrong about some things. But yeah, it's clear that there was also we have genetic evidence now that there was some contact from the New World to Polynesia, and in fact, like we know that there had to be because of a particular what is it not breadfruit, but the other one. Anyway,
Durian?
No. But there's some stuff that's in Polynesia and in Melanesia and like in Papua that came clearly from South America. It had to be brought by Polynesia.
What is the theory? What is this guy's theory?
And it's Easter Island. Nobody knows how those big ass things got in Easter Island. And his thing is that it was white people. He was
I don't
like
think
it was a white race.
I don't think that they were white, but they were different. They were like New World people, right? So I don't think they were white. I mean, I've read some of his stuff. It's interesting, and he was actually, like Tor Heyerdahl. That's who you're talking about. He's a good guy. He gets a bad rap, but I mean, he took some risks, and like that's what you do to really understand things in science. And so I wish there were more people that did that, even if like you're wrong most of the time. You're wrong most of the time. That's science. Like most of the time, it's failure. Like I'm a startup guy. You fail most of the time. Like, nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Yeah, speaking of ventures in racism, Razib, what do you think is like the most underrated mix of races? Like the most underrated combo, you think? Like maybe one that's a sleeper?
People who follow me know what I'm going to say here. 1/4 East Asian, 3/4 white, and I have a very specific reason why I say that. But anyway, Quappas. Yeah.
Quappas. Future
Well, so why
Quappa
Quappas?
Army.
Yeah.
Can we get a quick like why
Pub,
Quappas?
do Quappas get in the ethno state? What's the line for those?
Those are
This is
always
the
like the
first
hottest
time I've heard
chicks
of
too.
Quappas.
Okay. You just look. He just.
Is
that what it is?
like
I think Razib's
that
a
like
little bit of a
what's her name
gooner,
that's
and I
on-
think we're on the
Oh,
same
I'm
page.
not talking about goon. Like I mean, I have some experience. I have some I've done some hands-on ethnography, quite a bit.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Hands-on
bro.
ethnography.
I'm the resident race
Whoa.
mixer here. Everybody else is like white chicks here. I'm with you, brother.
I'm an old school anthropologist. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh.
Amen.
You
Me
know,
too.
see,
I'm about to change my bio
anthropological
to old school anthropologist.
I'm an anthropologist.
Race mixing.
I'm an empirical ethnographer. I do
Razib
research.
had sex with Priya Patel. Is that what he's trying to say?
You have to get statistically
I wish.
significant sample sizes. You know what I'm saying?
Priya Patel, thank God. She sponsored this podcast.
Is that a whatever you guys called it?
What? A
Quappa. No,
No, a Quappa is, you
Priya's
said a
Eurasian.
quarter East Asian, right?
Yeah, quarter East Asian.
Yeah.
Quarter
So it's
East
just a touch. It's like the guy that
Just enough.
raps in
Just-
Lincoln Park.
Just enough.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like
Okay.
It's a flavor. It's a good flavor addition to the base.
A lot of them in LA, I feel like, right?
Well, let me just fly out there soon. No, just
I'm with you, brother. That's got to be my favorite.
it's like Joseph Gordon-Levitt, right?
he's Jewish. He's Ashkenazi.
No,
But-
never mind.
One of the mongoloid looking ones. But yeah,
I tried.
I looked it up.
Kill me now. Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I'm actually a Quappa.
He was fucking
Gordon Levitt
Chinese.
is an Ashkenazi Jew.
I've been
Yeah.
a Quappa
Oh,
until
you're telling me this.
I
for the
literally
first time.
thought
inception.
he was Japanese.
No, he does
dude,
look
I
like
did
it.
too.
There's some Ashkenazis look that way, just like some of them look like Osama bin Laden.
He
you
took
know?
hella jobs out of slightly Asian people's hands, definitely over the years.
I'm sure he did.
Like, wait, we got an Asian Jew out here? Give him every role possible. He's on Roseanne? We'll make him a star.
Wait, was he on Roseanne?
Yeah,
Oh,
wasn't
I
he?
didn't
He
know
was
that. I didn't know
DJ or whatever for a few years, wasn't he?
I didn't know.
I swear to God, yeah, he used to play like Chinese kids on sitcoms.
Okay. Well,
He definitely
good to
was
know.
stealing roles.
Now I know his lore.
Yeah, he was on Roseanne for.
So, but wait, Rizzy, but why the
Few
what'd
years.
you call them, a quadrant or something?
Quappa.
Quappa?
Because
What is it?
Hapa is half.
Okay.
And Quappa is 1/4.
Is it just because they're white people, but they're like a little better at math? Like, what is?
Oh,
so
it's not that they're.
magical?
I don't care about the math part.
He's just saying they're good looking. He's just saying they're
Are you
hot,
just saying you're just saying they're sexy?
Yes.
which is
It
all that
is
matters
true.
for
They are
genetics.
kind of. It is. Do have to admit that the half Asians are kind of hot.
No, Quappa,
They're
it's
like a
just the
good
Quappa.
looking people.
The
How do you
Quappa is
spell
what he's
Quappa?
talking about, which is even more. The Hapa is the half Asian.
Yes.
They're not hot. They're just like
The Quappa is
Good looking.
the quarter Asian,
Yeah.
3/4 white. So it's a touch.
Oh my God, the
A touch
first
of
woman that got
exotic.
pulled up as a Quappa is just busted as hell.
It's a
Quappa.
yeah, but that's the
Quappa.
Jews. The Jews
Quappa.
want to make you think they're ugly so they can keep them for
No.
themselves.
Quappa.
Mm.
I definitely don't have a ton of respect for Jews who marry not Indian, Asian. Sorry, Asians.
I don't have a ton of respect for these guys.
I mean, Jews and Asians.
so the
Jews
Quappa thing
never
is like
marry.
an anime thing, I guess.
I just
I respect a lot of people.
like
They're not one of
anime.
them.
No, it's fine. Whatever. Love is love, man. Love is love.
Yeah, dude, I'm Google imaging Quappas and they're revolting. They look horrible.
Well, yeah, don't use that term.
Quappa. Okay. Well, thank you
Use
so much. I'm looking at a
Blasian
quote.
or Blackanese.
Yeah, Blasian.
But they're not. But then ask Grok to take the black out and replace with white, and then you get exactly what he's talking about. Dude, I follow like 14 of them on Instagram. I'll send you them.
All right, Razib. Thank you so much. This was great. Really good episode.
Joke.
Appreciate your time. Yeah, come hang out with us in LA. We'll hit you up when we're in Austin.
No,
so
dude,
we
we're
can
going to
get kicked out.
Austin. We're gonna get kicked out of so many restaurants with Razib, dude.
Yeah.
Let's go.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining. We're
Bye.
done here.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.